These assignments are so secondary employment coordinator, and deputies are expected to log out with our communications center and be present on the property while conducting this work for these private companies who are paying for these services. The allegation we received concerned Deputy Timothy James Bell, who's been employed by CCSO for 26 years. Initial investigative work revealed that Deputy Bell had not been following policy as it pertains to logging out with our communications center when he conducted security work and property checks. This necessitated further investigation into his secondary employment activities to include covert surveillance in an effort to verify whether he was actually working at these jobs as he was being paid for. Covert surveillance confirmed that Deputy Bell either left hours early from or never left his residence to show up for 5 secondary employment jobs he had been assigned during the month of November. These jobs included the Clay County Utility Authority on November 7th and November 16th, Duval Asphalt Company on November 10th and November 21st, and the Fleming Island Plantation Amenities Center on November 15th. Bell submitted electronic records from his CCSO computer to be paid for these 5 jobs and cashed checks totaling more than $1,350. In addition, investigators found that Bell had submitted timekeeping documents to be paid for 2 secondary employment jobs, Duval Asphalt and Fleming Island Plantation, on opposite ends of the county during overlapping hours on November 1st. It was not possible for Bell to be present at both at the same time. As a result of these findings, our investigators met with our criminal justice partners at the state attorney's office to review the case, and we obtained an arrest warrant for Bell. He was arrested this morning and has been charged with organized fraud, which is a 3rd-degree felony. His employment with the Clay County Sheriff has been terminated. As disappointed as I am in Bell's actions, which led to his arrest, I am just as proud to say that the information about his illegal activity also came from agency employees, these employees who understand the importance of honesty and integrity. When law enforcement officers learn to recite our code of ethics during our recruit training, it serves a purpose. It instills in us that our badge is a symbol of public faith, and we accept it as a public trust to be true to the ethics of our law enforcement service. This is why it is so important to hold those who stray from our oath accountable, to maintain the trust of the public we serve. None of us want our badge to be tarnished by the misdeeds of others, and we understand the importance of public trust. This is a solemn obligation that we are sworn as professionals. We are sworn to as professionals, and I am committed personally as the sheriff of the Clay County Sheriff's Office. Now, before I take any questions, I want to address another issue. I want to clarify some information that has been reported. A couple of days ago, a private citizen confronted a police officer from another agency on Facebook Live with some very serious allegations. This citizen also claimed that he had provided evidence or proof of the officer's alleged actions to the Clay County Sheriff's Office previously, and that we had done nothing about it. Upon interviewing this citizen, we learned that he had sent a single text message to a landline which does not accept text messages a couple of months ago. This information was never received by any of our members, as this person has purported it to be. With that being said, we are currently conducting an investigation into the alleged actions of that officer, and because that is an open investigation, I will not be able to provide any further details on it. With that, I will take your questions.
Can you explain a little bit more? You said a text was sent to a landline. Can you repeat what you said there?
Yes, sir. A single text was sent to a landline.
Which landline, I'm sorry?
A landline here in the Sheriff's Office, and our landlines do not accept text messages.
So this is that private citizen saying that citizen was turning in information to the Sheriff's Office via text message, and you're saying that's how
This citizen stated that he had turned over evidence or proof of potential criminal activity to the sheriff's office.
And he did so via text message to a landline here.
Our landlines do not accept text messages.
Okay, gotcha.
You said the allegation was made against an officer from another agency, right? That's what I'm sorry, that's what I heard.
The allegation that this gentleman is talking about is against not a Clay County Sheriff's Office member, a member of the Clay County School Board Police.
So for this Facebook Live, it's gotten a lot of traction on social media, something that's been widely discussed here locally. When something like this comes up, is there a reminder or message for parents in terms of perhaps monitoring what their kids are doing on social media?
Sure, I think there's, as a mom to 4 teenagers, you need to be constantly monitoring your kids' devices and social media. But I'll go ahead and go one step further. If somebody has information alleging criminal activity, the best answer is to contact us here at the Clay County Sheriff's Office and allow us to work a criminal investigation.
And has the Clay County Sheriff's Office ever worked in tandem or received information from this individual prior to the Facebook Live from this week?
I don't have the answer to that. Not that I'm aware, but I can't say 100%, not since I've been here.
With regards to the Mr. Bell case, can you speak at all as to, is there any oversight or will there be any oversight to, I guess, make sure that the work that is said is being done is being done?
Sure. In fact, prior to walking in here, we were discussing just that. How do we make sure that our deputies are doing the right thing, and how do we make sure that citizens or businesses who hire our deputy get the service that they're paying for? So we will make sure that we have very strong checks and balances put into place and review our policy, and if policy changes need to be made, then we'll make them, and we will make sure that we are doing the right thing.
And did the lapse in security at the utility authority asphalt company, did that result in any crimes occurring?
Not that we're aware of, no, sir.
And I did want to ask, yesterday formal charges were filed against your predecessor. Do you have any comments on the
No, sir.
case?
I don't.
Going back to Bell, you said that it was that the information about the activity came from employees. Were those employees who worked closely with him? Are you aware of?
We're still a smaller agency, and Deputy Bell has been around for a very long time. So I don't want to speak to the relationships that he may or may not have had with these employees, but I will, I want to commend those employees who stepped up and did the right thing.
And sorry, can you elaborate also on the 2 jobs on opposite ends of the county during overlapping hours? Which ones were those specifically?
Sure. Let me make sure I get my. So the 2 jobs at opposite ends of the county were, when I say very far away from each other, Duval Asphalt and Fleming Island Plantation Amenities Center.
Okay, so that was was it the 10th or the 21st?
That was November 1st of the overlapping hours.
In terms of the investigation into the officer from another agency, has your office met with individuals with Live, and can you say whether you believe the allegations to be credible?
We are very early in that investigation. I'm just not going to speak to it at this point. We are plugged in, our detectives are plugged in, but I'm not going to say anything further at this point on that. We want to make sure we keep we want to make sure we do a solid investigation, and I don't want to speak to anything that may put that in jeopardy.
But have you met with the person who reported?
I personally have not. No, sir.
Has your office?
Yes, sir.
Can you speak a little bit more to the charge, organized fraud? What does that take?
Sure. I'm gonna let Under Sheriff Lenvey speak to that. He's been overseeing this since.
The organized fraud is a scheme to defraud where time records were sent electronically from a series of coordinated activity to get that financial gain in the end. So you had 5 different off-duty assignments during the month of November. They were not filled, some not at all, some only partially. Those records for full payment were electronically submitted and funds were received and cashed. So that's the scheme to defraud.
And do you anticipate any possible further charges, or is it going to be just this one?
At this point in time, that appears to be the extent of what we'll be charging him with, but investigators will look to see if there's potential for anything else.
And so this was a remote access system, so you didn't necessarily have to be at a specific location or property to...
Now, by policy, he was supposed to be at the locations and logged out with our communications center to signify that he was there, and he was not doing that, which led to this further investigation and the surveillance to verify that he actually was not fulfilling that obligation.
No further questions we're going to have today. Thank you all for coming.
Bell's last name, is that...
BELL.